Hello, hello. Happy Tuesday. Hey, everybody. How's it going? Hey, the ant. What's up? 0 0 0 1 0 0 1 0 0 0 0 1 1 0 1 0 0 1 0 0 1 0 0 0 0 1. I don't know what that means. I don't speak binary. Hey, A6 Giddy World. What's up? Rihanna Journey. How's everyone doing? All right, let's get it. Here's screen share. How's everyone doing? I hope everyone had a good weekend. The sky is up. Oh, is that like a basis vector or something? I don't understand, but it's pretty good. The sky is up. Oh, you're answering in terms of what's up. That's high in binary. Oh, fun. All right. Well, we're back at it. What we're doing, and I should really have tested this before I went live. We're kind of substituting out. We're still working on the autotiler because obviously, I'm cleaning it up a bit because I got kind of sick of how it was spread out. So this used to be a whole mess. This has edge -x. In fact, I don't think I need the comment here anymore because the function is the comment. The function name tells us what we're doing. So we have this has edge -x. And that takes us down here. And we can switch off the W component of each hull key. The W component is the particular layer. So if we cast that to the tile layer enum, we can figure out what layer we're dealing with. And so I can put all of the auto tiling logic in like one function block here. And that way, because the big thing I wanted to do is I only wanted to write each rule once. And every approach I was taking eventually involved writing an auto tiling rule more than once. And I don't want to do that. Because if I make a change to one, I don't want to have to think about where else we are invoking this rule. So we're just doing this. It's not perfect. Like, you have to pass in a hull type, and if you don't pass in the hull type, it will change the function a little bit. And that's kind of how I'm addressing that in cases where we do or don't need that. I don't know if this is going to work, but we're going to try. We're going to extrapolate this. I only wrote this for one edge. So I'm going to do a quick test, and then we're going to extrapolate that throughout the rest of the code. Hey, Nix, you're on a 3-stream watch streak. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I haven't seen that either. Maybe that's new. Ooh, you got channel points for it. Look at that. Hey. Episode 10000101. That's 261 in binary. Okay. Fun. C# and Godot, right? Hey, A6, yeah. We're doing C# and Godot. We're doing it for weird reasons. Partly because it's just personal comfort. This project actually has multiple... It's actually a split code base between GDScript and C#. Because I pulled the simulation layer out. So the simulation layer is in its own world. It's a very rudimentary entity component system. And that's just because this is kind of a heavy simulation game. And I didn't want to be constrained by nodes, objects, the scene tree, stuff like that, resources. I didn't want to deal with that stuff for the simulation part. So we send everything off. So the UI and the rendering is still both done in Godot using GDScript. I mean, the GDScript doesn't do the rendering, but you know what I mean. We do still send everything back to Godot to do all the rendering stuff. So like our input handler is in GDScript, and so is all of the scripts attached to our different things here. Like the board and the things that unpack the tile map data, which I thought was this, but I guess it's something else. Who unpacks the tile map data? Oh, it's each of you? Is it the hull level? All right. I actually don't know my own code base. I thought it was the concerned. Moderate concern. Can't find the part of the code I wanted to look at. Maybe it's this tile levels. Tile levels extends node 2D. Hole levels extends tile levels. Oh, okay. So it's a super script. I don't know what you want to call it. It's a base class. All right. So yeah, we still do GD script stuff, just not for like the core simulation layer. That is kind of in its own little world. Ideally, this whole thing would have been written in like C++, in a GD extension. I'm not really a C++ programmer, so I however, have like over a decade of C# experience. I know it doesn't look like it when you look at the code. But I have a lot of C# experience, so it was the natural choice for me. All right, let's do a quick test. Quick sanity check to make sure the little refactor I initially did isn't broken. Crash. No crash? Okay. Can we do everything still? So we're working on an autotiler for a tile block editor that we're using to make this game. And it just lets us build these spaces. It lets us build spaces in 3D. Oof. I've still got to fix a lot of the overlapping. But it's really this big autotiler cutaway system. There's an incorrect thing happening along a particular axis. There's an edgewise thing happening here. Along only the x-axis. And only for the selection overlay. And only if we're not... Huh. Fascinating. All right, well, I already spotted something that I messed up. We'll figure that out when we probably do the next step of this, which is to continue to just encapsulate this behavior in a function. Get xtile overlay. If has edge negative x and mask.contains hull key minus vector3i.y. Yeah, that seems fine. Hey, Diginanigans. A6, after like 5 to 6 scripts, it's starting to get hard to find the thing one is looking for. Yeah. You've seen this before. Cool stuff. You're a sub now. Oh, thank you so much. Really appreciate that. I can't... On YouTube, I have a harder time telling who's new and who is not. It doesn't have the same, like, first-time chatter flag as Twitch does. So I generally presume not, but I appreciate that. I appreciate you letting me know. Yeah, welcome back. Yeah, that's the other thing is I love Godot, but I'm having a bit of a harder time organizing a large project in Godot, especially when everything is like a node or a scene or whatever. I've kind of fallen back to what's a little bit more my comfort zone, which is to do this kind of very lightweight simulation structure, a very lightweight simulation object that's just like a struct. And then I can organize it however I want and just exists in the code. I'm not like making all these scenes with all these script files. And that's the thing. Something I struggle with Godot is organizing larger projects. For a game jam, Godot is perfect. Like when I'm doing a weekend game jam, Godot is, I can't imagine a more perfect engine than Godot for doing something like that. But when I'm doing a project like this, that's like years and years of work and the complexity just builds and builds, it just made sense to do this, to just pull it all out. But this also might be just kind of the way I am, because I did similar things in Unity. Like, I would refuse to use all of the Unity engine. I would, like, be like, well, I'm actually going to, like, pull this out and then write my own scriptable render pipeline and then do this. And, like, I think that's just a thing you do, especially when you're a solo dev. Because the most important thing is that the project is manageable and understandable by you know, the author myself. And I've made a lot of weird architectural reasons in pursuit of that, or architectural choices in pursuit of that for that reason. I still got a little coffee this morning. That's nice. Got a little coffee left. So there's differing behavior between the negative X edge and the positive X edge. It's a little concerning. Oh, wait. What's going on here? Oh, well, here's... Oh. No, this is fine. Okay. So let's start doing the encapsulation thing. Let's continue to just shove those individual conditionals into a function like this. So we can just call the function and then it will figure it out. It'll figure out which series of rules to invoke. Hey, bad cop. What's up? How's it going? Hey, Enskimnator. Have you worked in an environment with several folks working on the same Godot project? I have not. I'm like a serial solo dev. I have not done that, and I imagine it's hard. But how are you? What's your experience been like collaborating with people on Godot projects? I'm sure Bad Cop has opinions about that. Your experience is poor. Yeah. I would imagine. That's not the reason I don't do it. I don't do it for like personal psychological reasons, which is like I don't like people. Let me specify. I don't like working with people. I am very opinionated. But I'm not articulate, so it's tough. It's tough. All right, so we're just going to go through this. We're going to do a switch expression. You did Journ Jam and Godot. You were stuck in merge hell a lot. Ooh, yeah, I could see that. Try not to ever touch the same scene. Make sure your scenes save item potently. Bad cop. If you have tool scripts or animation trees that don't T-pose, you're going to have a bad time. Yeah, I could see that. I do find myself accidentally changing scenes a lot. And that's already just a problem for me. A6 Giddy World, do you have a timeline for this project? How long until release? Oh, ages. We do have kind of a timeline. I guess I could bring that up. It's more of a roadmap than a timeline. Like I'm not doing, this is our task. This is our like Kanban board for this particular editor. Pay no attention. Hey, Sapphire Starship. So this is kind of the overall roadmap. We're kind of trying to hit this first part, which is the alpha MVP launch. We're working our way down. We're still on the first part, which is this tile block editor. We worked on it pretty much the whole year, and we're probably not going to finish. So this has taken about a year, which is maybe about 6 months longer than I'd hoped it would. But it's really far along, and I think we will be able to wrap it up by the end of the year. I hope we'll be able to wrap it up by the end of the year. Famous last words. Kanban for yourself? Yeah, exactly. Honestly, it's not for myself. It's for explaining to people what we're doing and to make it look like I have some idea that I know what I'm doing and that I have some grasp on this project. When in reality, I kind of just sit down and I go live and I just work on the next thing with very little regard for production timelines. You just have to wheel in your whiteboard every time. Starship, you popped in on your phone real hot to say hi real quick. You won't be able to stay on the laundromat currently. Hope you'll be able to join back in. All right, no worries. Enjoy the laundry. Enjoy the laundry. I just throw my laundry in the machine and I leave for like an hour and then I come back. Never had my clothes stolen. Nanigans, you've done a lot of collaborative coding projects, not in Godot specifically. You find the most likely cause for conflicts in the various scene and UUID files, etc. Oh, I can't imagine being in the middle of a project with multiple collaborators when the UUIDs came in, like when the unique IDs got implemented. That must have been horrible. Hey, Bad Eye Games. Howdy, how's it going? Welcome in. The UID thing seems buggy too. Yeah, I haven't really relied on it very much, but it does seem a little weird. You would not merge those and be explicit about it, about the UIDs. Yeah, that's cool. Code is fine. Leave other source file assets out of the repo. Only commit game ready assets. Yeah. I'm gonna have to change my approach to that for a game jam this weekend. I don't want to have the same issue I had before where like I couldn't put the assets in the repo because the assets were too big. Gotta figure out what I want to do about that. Can't really just throw it in and leave, considering you have to transfer the dryer. You have to use a bike up and down. Ooh, a big hill. What jam you doing? Use LFS? I might. If we do another 3D game, I'll use LFS. Where I'm gonna do the Halloween. I'm gonna do Practical's Halloween Jam this weekend. The solo development Halloween Jam number 9. I'm gonna do that starting Friday, starting noon my time on Friday, which is like now. It's almost exactly noon. So we'll be kicking that off Friday. Cave Rim 2 is using LFS for audio. The repo is like 3 gigs or something. Jeez. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Oh man, what am I going to do for audio? Yeah, I guess I'm going to have to use LFS. I haven't started doing any audio stuff in this current project. But yeah, I have a problem with my last 3D game, which is I can only build it from one computer because only one computer has all of the original assets I used. I need to put those in a drive folder or something. It doesn't matter because I'm not actively working on it, so I don't need it to be in a smart place, but like, and I don't own any of the assets, so I didn't want to like put them in a repo, but I'm going to do the same thing for solo dev because solo dev allows me to use pre-made assets. So I'm going to treat this as such a chill jam this weekend. I'm not going to make any assets. We're just going to use pre-made spooky Halloween art and sounds. I will be using Mac's gameplay template. I told him I'd use that. I wanted to give it a try. So we'll have some code template stuff too. So I'm gonna be lazy deving this. What happened to Practical? I don't know. I haven't seen him online a lot. He's definitely working. I see him working all the time in Discord, like in Asebrite or something. But yeah, I haven't seen him on stream in a while. Hope he's all right. He's probably busy in early access dev hell. Anyway, what was I talking about? Our roadmap for A6? Yeah, we have 4 big tasks before I feel like we have an alpha MVP. We have this block editor so that we can build the ships. Then we need a simulation so that we can figure out what's happening on the ships. And then we need a scenario editor so that we can script encounters. Like you jump in, you get ambushed, or you jump in and there's a distress signal and, you know, stuff like that. And then we need a little battlefield where ships can fight. Not like they're not going to fly around really much. It's going to be like a 9 box where like your ship is in the center and then you could have ships on any of the 8 sides. So we need to do all of this. And then we have a side project that I want to do called Lo-Fi Flyby, which we can start working on once these 3 things are done. So I don't know. I don't know what the timeline is. I'm a little concerned that we're going to finish this in like another year and then go into side project land for another year and then finally do the MVP launch like 2 or 3 years from now. I don't know. I'm concerned. I don't even know if the games industry is still going to exist 3 years from now. Is the theme voting or just a theme being announced? I think you can submit themes for consideration. I don't think they're being voted upon. I think they're being selected by the organizers, which is fine with me. I think theme voting is kind of stupid. It's kind of funny though, like how Down to Jam the theme was gathering, and then Ludum Dare came up, and the theme ended up being like collector. It's like there's some game dev zeitgeist where we were like, this is what we want to do right now. We want to just collect shit. So I kind of like a curated selected theme. All right, the task today should be super easy. We're going to see if that's true. We'll add this. We'll add this default condition, I guess. Oh, do I need bracket braces? I do. Oh, I don't need this. I don't need this part. Now what are you upset? Oh, I do need this part. Now what are you upset about? Turn type is void. True. All right, so let's add all the layers. Tile.layers.deckx. Layer. Well, let's maybe not add them all right away. Let's go up here. Rhiannon, Elon has promised that XAI Game Studios is going to be releasing an AI-built game by next year. So if things go that way, human games will be in demand for a while. Yeah. I assume that'll go about as well as any other big tech attempt at making a game studio. I assume that'll go about as well as Amazon Game Studios. All right, so the nice thing is the rest of these conditionals, the negative X edge conditional is like crazy detailed because it's the foreground edge. It's like it's the edge you most often, or that stuff in front of interfere. I don't know how to explain it. It's the most finicky of the conditionals. So that's the one I started with, and so that was the hardest one. So I'm hoping the rest of these are like pretty easy. Like this one's just this. So what I want to do, except I want to change this. I want to say whole type dot has value. If it does, we do this. We can also just call this. Oh no, we can call it this. We can call it adjacent deck Y. And if it's not, what we do is we do a contains check. Yeah. You know what I'm all about. Autocomplete knows what I want. We do a comma, because that's what you do. We go on to the next one, except not that one. We go on to this one. I'm going to use the little C thing here, the little looky-loo trick here, which is pretty neat. Figure out where this code is. I think I should copy all the behavior over and then replace the function calls here. Nix, you've been writing for 26 minutes now. Sorry about that. Twitch app, I guess, does not like VPNs. Okay, this little preview thing is not helping me as much as I thought it would. Okay, that's where I want to be. This one. This one's next. Why is sometimes it immediately jumps and then sometimes it like slides down? I totally understand the differing behavior there. Hope everyone's having a great day. Great start to their week. I say start to their week. It's like Tuesday or whatever. Whoa. Oh, no, that's right. Never mind. This time it's the web browser version on PC. Really? I historically don't. I only really ever use the web browser on PC for Twitch. I guess I'm not the biggest chatter though. I'm more of a lurker when it comes to my viewing habits. There's a channel I always watch in the morning when I'm doing my work first thing. I'm gonna shout him out. Shout out Wormwood Gaming. Make sure I get this right. I really like their stream. They stream Monday through Thursday. Wormwood Gaming, yeah, that's it. Really great. It's just like a woodworking stream. They're the people that make all the gaming tables and stuff. And they just have a warehouse stream. Like today, they stuck they have 3 GoPros and they put them all over the place each day. They're usually at someone's desk and it shows them like gluing stuff or assembling things or whatever. And sometimes they'll stick it on a machine so you can see the machine moving around, which I really like. Today, they stuck it on their forklift so you could just follow along the forklift driver as he drove around the factory doing different stuff. And you could see him appear in the other cameras as he drove by. It was really fun. I really enjoyed that. I'd never seen their a forklift camera for them. Oh, I need to go get the actual behavior I want for this. Get Z-tile. Plus X edge. This is what I want. Okay, if I preview it first and then I jump, it's instant. Okay, so I just have to I have to bring up the preview first. Did I see Cave Room 2 yet? No, I haven't. Let's take a look. You finished it? You finished it for wow, the SEO for Cave Room 2 is not great. Let me see if I add itch.io or something. There we go. Oh, it's in space. It's the first result for you? Okay, it wasn't for me. But, oh, this is for the Little Doctor Game Jam. Oh, right. Oh, this looks sick. Sci-fi cave room. Oh, the music's perfect for this right now. I'm dying. What is this no dragon sticker? Oh my god. That is so funny. I'm gonna play this later. This is hilarious. The next chapter in the Elder Coal Mines saga. Oh, in the Elder Coal Mines saga arrives from Bethesda Game Studios, the makers of some other jam games you maybe played before. I love this. Cave Rim 2 reimagines and revolutionizes the open-world space opera, bringing to life a complete virtual world open for you to explore any way you choose. The legendary freedom of choice, storytelling, and adventures of the Elder Coal Mines is realized like never before. Dragons, long lost to the passages of the Elder Coal Mines, have returned to the world, and the future of the Empire hangs in the balance. Indebted to a dragon, you must find the prophesized hero born with the power of attorney. He is the only one who can sneak it by them. Any similarity to Starfield is completely coincidental. Half the team has never even played it. Oh my god. The game was made in 2 weeks for the Little Doctor Games Jam 2025 with theme space. And the self-inflicted theme of sequel to Cave Room. That's really great. I'm excited to try this. I'm going to leave that tab up. You made the no dragon sign? Nice. And the theme was space. You were like, how the hell are we going to do that? Yeah, that's pretty tough, but you found a way. You found a way. I applaud you. I applaud you by both sticking with the Cave Room sequel self-imposed theme and also digging into Starfield, which I tried to play and bounced off of so hard. You sure did make something. Yeah, I can't wait to see it. Oh, snap. We're getting raided. Raid alert. Sorcery Story. It's coming in with their story bites. Story beats? I don't know. What do you call your channel members? How's it going, Sorcery? I've been seeing your art. Your art looks incredible. I've been watching the stuff you've been making. You've been kind of on your original art pass, I think, for a while. It's really great. I've enjoyed watching it. Hand over your Klingon prisoners and no one needs to get hurt. You can have them. You can have them. Klingons generally don't let themselves be taken prisoner. Hey, Roger Dev, Reef Citizen. Yeah, the ever-expanding Cave Rim universe. The Elder Coal Mines, that's so funny. It cracks me up. Hello, hello. Hey, Raiders. Welcome in. This is Digital Iliad. We are working on an FTL-like made in Godot. It's kind of like a 2D presentation of more of a 3D version of FTL where it's a lot more verticality. Like, we're working on this tool that lets us build these 3D ships. The tool is very much... I don't have beautiful art like Sorcery Story has been making. I've been kind of just gray boxing everything. So we're working on the autotiler. When are we not? We're always working on the autotiler. So we're working on this. We need to fix a lot of this. But you can make these 3D shapes. So we could start by like making a deck plate. And we could start making some rooms. This is going to just kind of look like a flying housing block for a second because it's not going to have a lot of structure to it. But we have like an autotiler, we have a cutaway system, we have a compartmentalization system. Oof, I don't love that. We're fighting with our overlays right now. We've added some overlay stuff that we are working on. But we have a lot of systems. We've been really working on tackling the visibility problem of trying to do an isometric game with verticality, with like multiple decks. But we can auto-tile pretty much everything. We can auto-tile doors, which I think is fun. So we can draw a door and then make it a bigger door and then make it a bigger door. So we can do that kind of stuff. But yeah, this is kind of what we're working on. Pretty leisurely. Behavior of my cutaway system has changed recently. I'm not sure when I did that. Oh, I see a missing, I see an outline problem. You can kind of see it in that middle floor. There's an outline there that shouldn't really be there. Or it's missing 2 additional outlines that should be there. Actually, that's probably what it is. Huh. The art is a bit of a work in progress. You're very happy with it turning out. That's great. That's great. Reef Citizen, last time you were here, I was carefully drawing tile combinations. Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, I do that. I do that a lot. Things are good here. Thank you. If you got a raid and run, no worries. I appreciate anyone who's hanging out here with us today. Yeah, so this is how it normally would be cut. And then for some reason, when I go in here, it cuts in one further. That's new. That's new and very weird. I wonder what's causing that to happen. I haven't even changed the cutaway code in so long. That's something to investigate. Concerning. Anyway, we're doing some refactoring right now. We have a bunch of autotiler rules, which I'm trying to encapsulate into some functionality because I'm tired. I don't want to write them twice. I want each set of rules to be written once so I can modify them once. So I'm kind of moving some stuff around and we're doing some organization today to get that in place. So kind of mess, but we're working our way through it. I was just on deck Z. So now we're on bulk X. How many features do you need to have your layout tool to be complete? Refactors are the best factors. So there's a few more. So if we go to my approximate Kanban board, which isn't very well done. Like, what are we even working on right now? I don't think we're working on any of these. Technically, we're doing a bunch of prep work so that I can have an invalid block tile mask, so that if someone tries to build something that's invalid, the system will flag it and you aren't able to publish it. Like, you can save it, but you can't publish it. So we're laying a bunch of groundwork to that, and that's involving a refactor. But I'd say these are the remaining, ignoring the stuff that's in progress, which all of these need to be done. We also probably need a block editor history so that you can do undo redo, and so that you can do like save load stuff. So we need these for sure. I have a bunch of more palette pieces I want to draw. So, and then I have some quality of life stuff here that I think I'm going to skip, which is like an eyedropper tool or a paint bucket tool, or like a tool to help me build the tile sets. And also a tool that would let me paint individual faces of a block. So you can specifically, instead of letting the auto tiler do it, you can be like, I want a particular face painted here. So maybe a dozen, probably about a dozen tasks left. I hope I can wrap this up by the end of the year. That would be the dream. I would like to not spend more than a year on this on this tool, but we're pretty happy with the tool, and I think I'm going to be able to use this tech in other games. Like, I have an idea for an idle game, an idle short cargo hauler game that's like kind of like Ropika's Idle Island, but it would just be a game about a little pilot flying around. It would be like a lo-fi kind of idle experience. I'm going to call it lo-fi flyby. So I'm already getting distracted by side projects. You can do it. Undo redo is very useful. Yeah, I'm kind of going a little overboard with the tool, but I really want to be done. I don't want to pay. You're a solo dev, so you understand this. I don't want to pay the task switching cost of like every time I run into a feature that I would want to have in the editor tool, I drop what I'm doing somewhere else and like go work on the editor tool for a while. I'm really trying to like get the tool as complete as possible before we move on, because I really want to be able to tie a bow on it and be like, anything left is marginal enough that I don't need it now, that I can ignore it. I really don't like task switching constantly, like working on a big system one day and then switching over to another system. Like, arguably, we should have been working on the simulation for a long time now, and the block editor is far less important than the actual ship simulation. But to me, the block editor tool is like the foundation, in the same way that the auto tiler is the thing that enables how you can see into the ship, and like that controls what people can even do. Like, if you can't, like, the input controls what you can do, the visuals provide the affordance of what you can see. So I find these fundamental systems very important, and I don't like going wide. I like to like drill really deep into a system, finish it, and then move on. Nanigans, you're the opposite. You enjoy bouncing around so you don't get burnt out or bored on working on the same thing for weeks, months on end. No, if I have to clear my mental cache on something that I'm working on and switch to something else, that is a huge cost to me. I forget everything about what I was working on, and then I come back to it and I'm like, I don't remember how any of this works. I'm trying to avoid that. Building out other systems also helps validate your assumptions and lets you pivot if needed. That is wise. That is the reason to not do what I'm doing. Is the fear that your requirements are going to change and invalidate a bunch of your work. That is a deep-seated fear of mine, and that does happen a lot. So yeah, that's wise. Sorcery, you're in the same boat. All of the things to fix, but you need art. Constantly switching gears does make it more interesting, but leaving things half-baked also has its costs. Yeah, exactly. It's really the curse of the solo dev. You're like, as a solo dev, you're like the eye of Sauron. You can be looking at one thing at a time, and that's it. And that one thing you can destroy, but there's only one thing. And you got to be looking out for hobbitses sneaking around everywhere. All right, I don't know what happened to the music. Very triumphant. Also, thank you for the follow. I heard the follow, the beep. Mr. Dream Studio, thank you for the follow. I hope you're having a great day. Welcome in. That was such a triumphant piece of music, but now I'm going to change the radio. Hobbitses? Sneaky little hobbitses? I know. Nasty little hobbitses. All right. I'm going to pretend to be productive. Sorcery story, but that is true. Building more things also gives you more information as to how different systems relate to each other. You may find gaps in your mechanics and stuff like that. Yeah, you're very right. I think for the block editor tool specifically, it's like one of those foundational pieces where I feel okay going really hard on that tool and finishing that tool because what I'm able to build is going to determine what I'm able to simulate, right? So it's like if I can't build the thing with the block editor tool, it won't matter if I have a simulation because I can't build the thing yet. So it's like, that's why I'm so preoccupied with like the cutaway system and the visibility and everything. It's like, what can the player see? What can the player do? What's like realistic as far as like, how much can the player see at once? Where is this function? Around here, probably. Here we go. Bad cop, you found out making a dialogue system is hard? Oh, I can't imagine. I'm going to be there soon. I say soon. In like 2 years, I'm going to be making a dialogue system. Someday, I'm going to need to make a dialogue system. And I'm not looking forward to it. All right, here's our next piece of behavior. Let's grab this, pop back down. There we go. Sorcery story, you need to go and get dinner ready. No worries, no worries. You leave the lurk. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you for the raid. Always appreciate it. Have a great rest of your night. Oh, I got someone to... Yep. We're doing it. We're loading the photon torpedoes. We're going to ban this spam bot. Here we go.
He's dead, Jim.
Too soon. Bye, sorcery.
He's dead, Jim.
Yeah, behave, you degenerates. All right. He is dead, Jim. I love banning spam bots. All right. This is one of my favorite things to be doing on stream, when I just fully understand exactly the task that's in front of me. That's nice. And I can just crunch through and not be too worried about it. But there is a lot to do, so we're gonna keep on keeping on here. But I appreciate everyone hanging out. I appreciate the lurks, especially from the raiders who have no reason to hang out. But I really appreciate anyone who has chosen to spend part of their day here with us. Hopefully, if you're trying to work on stuff, you're getting stuff done. You're able to be productive, and I'm not terribly distracting. If you are here to just mess around and hang out, I hope I'm adequately distracting. I try to be like Brian Eno's definition of ambient music, which is that it's both interesting and ignorable. That's my streaming persona. It's at least what I aim for. This is suspiciously identical. Oh, but that's because it's the opposite. Right. I'm always very distracting. Oh, good. Diginanigans, your dialogue system you started to build out is very straightforward, but flexible. Basically trees of dialogue blocks, conditional flags, and optional weight values. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting to see, because I think a lot of the dialogue will be pulled from the scenarios, but obviously there's some dialogue that would be like outside. I need to think about scenario design. I think that's going to be a big thing. It's going to be interesting to see how that works out. Luckily, scenario design is like the third thing on my list of tasks that takes 6 months to a year to complete, so I don't have to worry about it anytime soon, but I do have to worry about it. Okay, are we here? This is the final function here for this side. Yep. All right, here we go. Grab this. There's definitely a problem with the bulk Z. So let's take an extra look at this when we hack this in here, because there's definitely a problem with the bulk Z cutaway at the moment. And I'm curious to see what that problem is. Shenanigans. It's in your dialogue system is intertwined with a few other world systems you have, but you've been working on a tool to manage that because doing it all in Godot is a lot harder to organize. We were talking about that just earlier this stream. If Godot has a problem, in my mind, as an engine, it's an organizational one. And honestly, that's not totally the engine's fault, probably. I'm going to nest this because I'm pretty sure that this... Yeah, there's something wrong with this. So this is the behavior for the positive X, and then this is the behavior for the negative X. Oh yeah, this is very different. Huh. We'll have to dive into that a little bit later. There's this additional condition here that the other one doesn't have. But I think that makes sense because the negative edge is in front and the positive edge is behind. So we're able to ignore a lot of stuff because it's behind. So it's obscured in a lot of cases. So we don't have to be quite as thorough about it. I do need to add this whole type .has value thing. There is someone working on my floor, and by on my floor, I mean the ceiling of the garage, which is my floor. Yesterday and recently, they've been using very loud power tools to drill into my floor. I can hear them working. I'm a little concerned that the same thing is going to occur today. So if I start yelling and become agitated, that is why. All right, I'm a little concerned. Oh, this isn't the negative y. This is the positive x. All right, so we've got everything copied over here. Let's plug it in. Let's plug it in. Remind me before I do a commit that I need to check a couple of things. Hey, Skimmer. Skimnate. I don't know quite how to say your name. Are they going to pop up through the floor like a cartoon character? Yesterday, it genuinely sounded like a drill bit was going to come up through my floor. That is how loud and intense what it was. I was like, a drill bit is going to come straight up through the floorboard any second now. It didn't happen, but I was convinced that was going to. Skim works. Thank you. Thank you for simplifying my life. I always want to refer to people how they would like to be referred to. It's just not always obvious to me what that would be. So I appreciate clarity. Diginanigans. Your issues, your organizational issues with your dialogue system is a symptom of having a multi-purpose engine. When you make a specialized tool specifically your game, you can organize it in a highly effective... Oh, the organizational issues. The organizational issues is a symptom of having a multi-purpose engine. Yeah. No. I got it. You're very right. It's the... Because Godot is all about flexibility, right? To a fault. Flexibility first, which is why it's so great as like a game jam engine. But it's like the more specific the thing you're making, the less helpful that is. And in fact, it kind of works against you in a lot of cases. Can I fit this on one line? I kind of don't want to because I feel like in many cases this is going to be a multi-line comparison. It just happens to be one line here. Yeah, I'm a little concerned I've slightly changed the behavior of some of these. Yeah, like for one thing, we don't care about that. So here we would say has edge, positive X, cutaways, all key, null. Super excited about this weekend, about doing a game jam. I'm a little disappointed in myself. I haven't accomplished the things I wanted to in terms of post-jam work on my last game jam. I was supposed to work on it last weekend, and then I did the classic thing, which is when I go to this event, my Godot meetup on Saturdays, which is why I wasn't streaming, I always bring my laptop, and I just work on my laptop while I'm at this event all day. I did the classic thing where I didn't push any of my commits, my recent commits. Somehow I didn't push my commits on bare necessities. So I had none of my recent changes or any of the art that I was going to use. And I was like, well, guess we're not doing this today. It was disappointing. Deeply disappointing. But I'm very excited to see what we can make when we have pre-made assets, when we're not, because when we do Ludum Dare and stuff, we're so preoccupied with just making the assets that we need, and it takes up so much of the time that I have very little time for gameplay, and especially for design. So I'm really excited to see how we do during a game jam that's way more focused on design and where we don't have that overhead. I'm very excited to see what we're able to come up with. Shenanigans. So far, you're basically using Godot itself for building out UI, environments, shaders, and putting models, animations together. The fact that you're using it as part of your art pipeline cracks me up. Like, it makes sense. The engine is kind of the final step of the art pipeline, right? But that's just great. Most of everything else you're either doing in code or in custom tools. Yeah. This is why I like you, Shenanigans. You really encourage my worst habits. We think very similarly about some of this stuff. I have some other game devs that I really like because we're very similar. We also have that same, like, I know if I ask them about it, I'm like, man, should I get working on the game mechanics or should I make another tool? They'll be like, make the tool? What kind of question is that? You gotta have your tools. I'm like, you're good. You're adding years to my development timeline, but that's what I want to hear right now. All right, we're going into ads over on Twitch. Sorry about that. Don't forget to redeem your Prime subs. It's free Bezos bucks. Use them or lose them. I messed this up. Geek and Gale. I spelled trolling wrong. Or did I? I like that. That's good. That's really funny. Welcome in. How's it going? Sorry if you're stuck in ads. Getting distracted on tooling is like the main thing game dev is for. Yeah, exactly. No, I get your joke. It's good. That's quite good. How's it going? It's like when you're arguing about pronunciation, but the argument is occurring over text. Funny stuff. All right. Moving along. I know I'm like kind of distracted. I'm trying to do a good job and not make mistakes. Having a hard time. Because I would like to finish this part today. I would like to work on something else tomorrow. I have to be real careful I don't start deleting conditionals that are like belong to the overlay. They don't belong to the actual. Because we're using the same functions for both the, what I would call the underlying texture or the underlying, I don't know what the right word is, blocks, which is like the walls and the floors and the everything. We use a similar function as we do for like the overlays, the select and stuff like that. But the select has its own set of additional constraints that are being added on. Like the mask, like the containment check for the mask. I just want to make sure I don't accidentally delete, because there's a couple of these that actually have additional checks beyond just a mask containment, and I'm really worried I'm just going to delete those conditions. Which is why I'm going to check the diff before I commit. Today's job was play Smite 2 this far, and delete all the conditionals will be fine. We're editing an autotiler, and if you delete rules from an autotiler, it is not always obvious. Well, it is obvious. You'll see the wrong behavior, but it's not always obvious where the rule is. I kind of hate autotilers because they're very finicky and they take a lot of setup. Once they're set up, they're perfect. They're amazing. They're so good. But the setup phase is such a struggle. You've done autotiling? Yeah. Yeah. We do edge autotiling and corners. We've kind of punted on the corner so far, but our sprite sheets are a little rough. Oh, Batos. I'm sorry for the pronunciation. It's probably wrong. But yeah, we have, like, our block template here is a lot. The white's the outline and the gray is the underlying texture, but there's a lot of various setups. I think this is pretty condensed as far as these sorts of things go, but there's still a lot. Like, this is just one tile set for one square or one rectangular wall and its floor component. Like, up top is like the full wall. Then the second group is the wall but half cut away. And then this is the side of the floor, and then these are obviously the tops in the middle. So it's a lot. Oh, the power drill has started. They have it kind of in Godot with the terrains. The terrains in Godot is good. It doesn't really work with the crazy layering we're doing, especially when you consider the fact that this is like kind of isometric. So what I'm doing is I have a bunch of levels, and each level has its own tile map layer. And we have a tile map layer per face. So to render a cube, we use 3 tile map layers. And so there's just a lot. There's a lot of tile map layers. So and the tile map layers talk to each other. So they actually so terrains is cool, but we're kind of going way beyond the traditional use case of terrains. You can't hear the power tool? Yeah. You mean floors? It's kind of like floors. Yeah, tile map layers. Yeah. Tile map layer is huge from 4.3. So like here's like the editor blocks. So in the upper left you can kind of see here's all the levels that we support. We support up to 8 levels. Each level is a node. And then each of those level nodes holds layers. So here's like deck layer X, deck layer Y. You can kind of see here the region that it refers to down here. So deck layer X, deck layer Y, deck layer Z, bulk layer X, bulk layer Y, bulk layer Z. And then we have a door layer because doors are going to be nodes. So they're scene collections. And this is just like a proxy layer for them. Just so that they're easier to draw during the editing time. And it ends up being what we have is this. It's going to break immediately. We're in the middle of a refactor. It's going to be shocking if this works at all. Nope. I broke something. Luckily, it seems like I've only broken it in the outline system. But yeah, that's busted. And so we have this crazy autotiler that does a lot of work for us. Ooh, yeah. Things are not good right now. We're doing a big refactor, and I've clearly broken something. But yeah, we have a lot of drawing issues. Oh man, what did I do? It's not just the autotiler. Or the overlay. You can see some missing outlines running this way. This way along the y-axis, which goes this way. God, it is hard to figure out what I'm pointing at. This way. On the bright side, it's not a Dora layer. There's always a bright side. Nanigans, you need to get your save load system done so that you can create a scene that has all the different things you can think of. Then you can load it up each time to check. Ooh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Could even go as far as committing a screenshot of that scene so you could diff any changes. Hmm. That's smart. That's smart. Having some tests is smart. I can see the downside of that is then if there's problems with the actual interaction with like when you're clicking and moving and stuff like that, you won't see it because you won't see anything in motion. You'll just look at the final piece, but that's still a really good test that we should start running. For sure. All right, so I busted something. I wonder how. All type.has value. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go through this before I commit. I'm gonna go through it with a fine-tooth comb. Because I think when I'm transcribing these, I'm either messing up some of the ordering or I'm doing something. I'm doing something. Oh, like both of these being plus is wrong. One of these should be a minus probably. Oh no, actually no, that's right. These should both be plus. Yeah, I don't know what I did, but I definitely broke something. I could have broken it in the deck Z. I could have broken it here. But yeah, I'll do the review later. Let's just get all the code in here and then I can make sure that the whole point is having these rules written once. And so once they're all written down once, I don't mind going in and fixing them. I feel like it's inevitable that I kind of bust these. What are the motivations behind the choice of writer instead of VS Code? Ah, sanity, I'm sure. You are ready. You are ready, geek. Batos. Sorry for the pronunciation, everybody. Mispronunciations. So the motivation for writer is I pay for it. I actually haven't used VS Code very much, and I actually don't think I would mind it. I started paying for a writer subscription years ago when I was still using Unity. And the way writer works is you actually pay less for it each year you use it. Maybe not each year. I think they might have extended it to be like 2 years or something. But basically, the longer you use writer, the less it costs, which is pretty cool. So they really get you, and it feels like you really can't cancel it. So when I started going back to C# for this project, which happened midway through the project, it wasn't a plan. I didn't plan to do this, to have a split code base and everything, or multiple domains or whatever you want to call it. Like, that was not the idea. But when I did, I was like, wow, I'm still paying for this writer subscription. I guess I should use it. Need all these buddies here. Nanigans. You imagine the interactive parts you would still test quite a bit because it is what you are actively working on, and then on top of that, you are regularly demoing it. I could also script some of that stuff, right? Like I could record input and play it back. That's part of the reason why we want the edit history, right? So I could see myself doing that too, like writing some tests for that as well. I'm not like a big TTD person, but I think writing some tests would be good and would be quite beneficial for me. Just in terms of time saving. Can add the default arm. Whoa. Diginanigans, in general, you think you like VS Code better. Writer does have better stuff specifically for C#. You don't think there's properly supported C# debug tools for VS Code anymore? At least not that you could get working. I'm sure there's a plugin, but yeah. Who knows? Yeah, Writer's debugging stuff is incredible. It has alerted me to so many like memory allocation issues that I would have never noticed. And it's like, did you know that you're really like thrashing around here? And I'm like, I did not know that. Thank you. But yeah, I haven't, when I was in Unity originally, I think I used Visual Studio Community, whatever version that you bundled with the engine for free, which is like Community like 19 or something like that. And then I switched to Writer eventually because someone told me to. And yeah, I've never really looked back. There's a weird continuity between the end of my time with Unity and what I'm currently doing in Godot. I think I broke with that for a long time when I was learning Godot, and I was still doing everything in GDScript and everything, and I just wanted to understand how Godot works. But I've definitely fallen back to a lot of habits that I had. Although, one advantage that Godot has over Unity, at least classic Unity, I don't know if Unity is still like this, but when I was using Unity, you did not get to use a recent version of C#. You got to use whatever version of C# they felt like supporting. In Godot, I can install the newest version of C# every time. Whenever they come out with a new version of C#, I'm on it. It's so cool. I love getting all these new features. I feel like anyone who used Unity for any amount of time back in the day is like, oh yeah, Unity never got any of the new C#. It was always a nightmare because there'd always be a solution to your problem in the next version of C# that you couldn't have. It's horrible. Makalko, hello, are you using custom writer theme or is that the default one? It is custom. What's it called? Nightfall. It's called Nightfall. I really like it. It's kind of nice for this time of year too. It's a little spooky. It's a little warm. It's got the oranges and the yellows and the red. Yeah, I think it's called Nightfall. Hey, Sapphire. What's going on today? I'm trying to encapsulate all of the autotiling rules in functions for like each edge or corner. So I can write each rule for each tile layer once and then reference it. So, and then have a couple things like if we need the hull type, if we need to match the hull type, we'll pass in a hull type. If we don't pass in a hull type, we won't match the hull type and we'll just do a containment check. So I'm trying to write each autotiling condition once. That's the goal. That's what we're trying to do today. And so I'm copying a bunch of stuff over. Because we have slightly different rules for overlays than we do for regular hulls, but we're putting those additional rules separately. You're going back to NeoVim from PHP Storm at work? Interesting. I can't say that I'm familiar. Did I? I did not. This and this and this and this. Is this what I copied down? Let me make sure that I got this right. Because we definitely have a problem here. Down in this area. Contains key. Not cutaways has any. And not cutaways equals has. Oh, I changed some behavior and I did it very wrongly. This is an equal sign, and for some reason I thought I could substitute that with an and instead, because I was like, well, we want to know that it's this and this, but actually, because it's an equals, it's actually asking these either need to be both false or both true. Wow, I messed that up. Where else does that matter? Where else did I do that? It's right here, I think. which means I also messed it up here. Is there anywhere else I messed it up? I don't think so. This, I think I did it here too. This is why I'm going to go back and check the diffs later. Because, yeah, I definitely just changed all of the behavior by doing that when I wrote this down. Let's do a quick check. Oh, I didn't plug it in all the way. Yeah, Visual Studio is terrible. The shenanigans. Rhiannon Journey. It's a modern version of Nim. Oh yeah, I'm aware of NeoVim. PHP Storm has incredible refactoring capabilities. You don't use a lot of anything else it provides. All right, so the overlay is still messed up. I changed something else. And the Dex Z is still messed up too. Yeah, I messed up some of these roles when I transcribed them. And it looks like I haven't necessarily fixed them, unless the problem is here. Ugh. Rhiannon Journey, you run tests with a watcher in the command line. You use a different database GUI to interact with your DB. You tend to do error logging debugging instead of using an actual debugger. You interact with Git through the CLI. You are a pro. I'm trying to do better about using the debugger instead of just throwing a bunch of logs in and just having to figure it out. I'm trying to use the debugger when it's possible. Man, that's still wrong. I don't know what's wrong. I mean, I don't care about those hash marks on the overlay. I can fix that. But there's an actual overlay problem here. And it's only affecting the X. The positive X. It looks like. Maybe the negative X. Oh, it doesn't seem to be impacting the overlay. Maybe I just didn't swap in this function yet. Oh, no, I didn't. Okay. That shouldn't matter, though. All right, we're cooking. We're cooking. We're still doing this. Let's just test that one more time. I don't think I fixed it, but I would like to hope that I did. I made it worse. I made it worse. Huh. Well, the Y is working, so that's good. So later I can just go back and copy over the Y behavior back to the X. In fact, I should probably try to figure out where that difference is before I move on and just break even more things. So I think it's here. So this is the X. So this is busted. And it's busted here. Okay, so here's the behavior here. What's it look like for the other side? Oh, I haven't copied the other side over yet, so I guess I should do that and then look at it. Why not? How much worse could this get? Diginanigans, coming from the web dev world, you don't think you found a debugger that you like more than the built-in Chrome dev tools? You can go quite deep with them if you know how. Oh, interesting. You can basically hot swap out any piece of code at any point in time. Yeah, the ones I hear about are Remedy BG and the RAD debugger. The RAD debugger sounds pretty rad, I'm not gonna lie. But so far, even the built-in Godot debugger has been adequate for my purposes. I usually use Writer, but that's just because I'm in Writer right now. But like if I'm working on Jam Game, Godot one's fine. All right, what am I doing? This, copying this behavior over. Ran a journey. JavaScript with Chrome DevTools is the only time you actually use step debugging. Oh, nice. All right, here we go. The negative Y edge is up next here. You know what's probably happening? I'm kind of relying on this autocomplete, and I think the autocomplete is like really screwing me over because I don't think either of these containment checks are correct. Yeah, like XY, like what? Yeah, I think I'm being over reliant on it. So if I look up here, whole key with W, yeah. So it's this. Also, why didn't this complain that these were both named the same thing? Or did it and I just didn't notice? It is always complaining to me that I'm using the same variable names in a switch statement. Why is it fine here? Annoying. Probably because there were other errors. And it hadn't gotten to that error yet. It hadn't decided to complain about that error particularly yet. I'm gonna try to be good this weekend with the game jam. I can't work. It's Friday at noon till Monday at noon. I work Monday. I'm taking Friday afternoon off, but I am not taking Monday off because I have to go to the office. And so we're gonna be a little short on time this weekend. I think the not having to make assets is going to be good, but I'm going to try really hard to like not do any all-nighters or anything. We're going to try to be super casual, which is really hard for me because I'm actually a deeply competitive person. Which is one of the reasons I don't like competing, is because it just feels bad to me competing. I get so much adrenaline and everything that even if I do well, I'm usually so messed up by it that it doesn't feel good. Like playing like I don't know, like competitive matches of like StarCraft or something. I'd be so tilted by the end that even if I won the match, I'd have to go take a walk because I'd just be so fired up. So I get real worked up when I'm competing. So I'm gonna try real hard to like let go a little bit during this weekend's jam. We'll see if I succeed. It's unlikely that I succeed, but we'll see. I'm gonna do my best. Why are these all off by 1? Okay, there we go. This weekend, there will be a moment that there will be a flashback to when he said he would take it easy this weekend. Yeah, there will be. I'll be like, I was going to take it easy. And you're like, I'm like, just like tweaking out over some crazy, like fairly minor thing. But I'll be so concerned about it. No, I'm going to do good. We're not going to do, it's not going to be like Ludum Dare. It's not gonna be an all-nighter thing. We're just gonna be realistic. Which, honestly, the greatest part of that battle, we are gonna win or lose that battle during ideation. When we're scoping the Game Jam project, that is when we win or lose that battle. As long as I don't do the thing I tried to do last Ludum Dare that I was in, which was the spring one, where I tried to like make like this like 3D Tetramino crazy ass game that needed like all of this tech that I did not have time to make. We're gonna try to do something real just cute. I don't know what it's gonna be, because if I'm honest, whenever a game jam comes up, I usually already have something in mind that I kind of want to do. Like there's usually a game that I've been thinking about or something that's been like bugging me that I want to do something related to. Like last Down to Jam when we made Bare Necessities, that was like what was in my mind at the time was Ropika's Idle Island. Like idle games were in my like cozy idle games was like coursing through my veins, and I was like, that's what we're gonna do, and that's what we did, sort of. More cozy than idle. Oh, here's a problem. I didn't actually rewrite this. Is this actually in here? Does this look the same as this? That is very different. Where did I get this from? Oh, wait. Maybe it's the same. Halls contains key, cutaways. Oh, it is. I just injected it in the middle. Never mind. All right, bulk X. Go back up. Not past go. How did this get here? Oh yeah, I put it there. Happens a lot with your stuff around the house. Yeah, that's the thing about, you know, doing all this stuff solo. Is you're like, what idiot did this? And you're like, oh, it was this idiot. What's the there's that Obi-Wan Kenobi quote. Well, of course I know him. He's me. We're gonna hop off. No worries. Thanks, Digi. Take it easy. I'm gonna drink some water here. All right, we got another hour or so. I think we can do this. It's not gonna work right. I'm definitely introducing some bugs. My transcription capabilities are questionable. But I kind of just want to do it. I'm really hoping there isn't like different behavior in some of these overlays that's like poorly marked. Is this bulk white tile? Negative Y edge. This is what we're copying now. This is supposed to be has edge positive X. Do we like the new font size? It was recommended to me that I like increase it so that people could actually see what I'm coding. And I'm like, I don't want people to be able to see what I'm coding though. I don't even want to be able to see what I'm coding. But I think it probably is helping. The only other thing is I need to write more clear. I need to be more clear writing my code. I don't need clean code. I need clear code. You've only seen this font size. What did you have it before? Like this? Just fine. But now we've made it like this. I need to go back and change this to be the default, probably. Someone wanted to be able to read it on their phone. And I'm like, I don't know if I achieved that, but... I know my code is very hard to read. Partly because I'm just not very good at naming things. I'm always going back and forth between the name should be long and the name should be short. And I just go back and forth. Where I shorten the name until to the point where it has no meaning anymore, and then I make it so long that like I can't see it on a single line. I'm like, you were noticing that it was easier to read. You didn't realize why. You like it? Okay, good. Good. Personally, you don't mind the smaller, but you're watching it on a large monitor and not a phone. Yeah, same. I have a very large monitor here. And even I kind of like it. I kind of appreciate the font a little more. Who knows? I might even change the font. But yeah, I also appreciate being able to read it a little easier. The only thing I don't like about it is it's a little harder for me to get a grip of like some of the bigger stuff that takes longer or is larger. But that's very rare. And it's usually a sign of very bad code in my world. Sometimes you do want to have this really enormous thing that you've written out, but in my mind it's usually not good. It's usually not a good sign. All right, there's another one. Like, I don't clean code like crazy, but I do like to encapsulate behavior in like a function that has a clear name. So that if I'm doing something top level like this, I don't need to see all of the implementation details. There are times when like that's a bad thing to do, but I think in general it's kind of nice. Especially if I'm trying to like explain what I'm doing. I find that's really hard when the code is like really weird. Oh wait. I did the thing. I like deleted the whole behavior again. Okay, here we go. I could arguably fit this on one line. I might do it. I'm gonna wait till I'm done first. All the big stuff I'm passing around too are ref structs, so I don't feel bad about doing it this way. Well, they're not big if they're ref structs, I guess. Oh, I did the thing again. Oh, I went too far. Here we go, right there. So for the overlays, we have this additional check. And I swear some of these have like additional checks, but I don't know. Sapphire, you think that code that basically describes itself through well-written variable and function names is better than having to have a ton of comments explaining everything? Oh, yeah. I agree. It's much better. You're presuming that that's the alternative. That the alternative to having variable names that are well-written and function names that are well-written, the alternative is not have a lot of comments. The alternative that I use is to have no comments and the code is just unreadable. That's usually where we end up. So yeah, I agree, which is part of the reason why I'm making the code bigger or easier to read, so that people are like, what does this do? And I have to like think about how I want to name it. Embrace the spaghetti. Hey, Ka, you're a crow. That's a great name. You're trying to be nice. I appreciate that. Yeah, the spaghetti is still there. It's just hidden, right? You're just hiding the spaghetti. That's my motto. Hide the spaghetti. Hey, no Jewel with the stretch. Thank you. Oh, that coffee was cold. Oh, no. Just had a big swig of my coffee. My cold coffee. That was not a good experience. Let's have some water. Just put some sauce on it. Yeah, exactly. Marinara. Every code base could be improved with like maybe like a marinara or like a white sauce, maybe a little Alfredo, pesto. I don't know, just something. This code is tasting a bit dry. Get some olive oil. All right, what am I doing? Stuff. Has edge -y, cutaways, hull key, hull type, and mask contains. Yoink. First time here, what are you making? Oh, welcome in, welcome in. We're working on an FTL-like that we're making in Godot. It's kind of like an isometric version of FTL, which is the classic spaceship management game. We're doing kind of more of a 3D thing with like a lot more verticality rather than the top-down 2D pixel art style, which is the beautiful and incredible FTL Faster Than Light. We're doing something a little different. So we're working on a lot of tech around displaying these 3D spaceships in an isometric 2D style. Yeah, Bernard's stretch is about as saucy as we're gonna get here on this channel. I should make that into a GIF though, or something of him just like picking stuff up, bending over and looking back at the viewer. It's a very risque pose when you think about it for too long. But yeah, we're working on. I'm gonna run this. It's probably not gonna break, but it's not gonna work correctly because we're refactoring our autotiler. But we have this big tool that lets us build out. Oh, maybe the overlay is actually behaving the way it's supposed to be. I mean, it's not, but maybe I'm actually not sure which part of that is wrong. But yeah, we have this big 3D world that we can build out in this kind of grid-like isometric way. And this is going to be for building these big spaceships. I'm going to test this. Why does this... Okay, now it's behaving normally again. The cutaway's not doing that weird thing that I was running into earlier. That's suspicious. I found a bug earlier and now I can't recreate it. Concerning. But how's it going? Welcome in. Yeah, I gotta figure out what that weird issue is with the X. There's a missing outline that's really bugging me right here. But that's okay, because we're in the middle of a refactor, and that sort of thing is to be expected. I know this is the same demo I always give. I know it's boring. But this is the kind of stuff we're working on. Just the ability to build out these ships. We're very much gray boxing everything at the moment. All right. Oh, I didn't replace any of this. That might explain some of the weird behavior. Oh, wait, no, that's right. I gotta replace this one. Oh, these are all null. It's probably something simple like that, where I'm accidentally comparing the hull types when I'm not supposed to be, or vice versa. That's suspicious. Why is this minus Z? Oh, I know. Never mind. Never mind. I gotta trust. I gotta trust that I wrote these things correctly at the time. The corners, I don't think we're gonna swap out yet because there's no real corner behavior yet. How can you trust them? You wrote them correctly when you know there are bugs that you want to fix. Trust but verify is what I'll say to that. Because what I often find is that, when I wrote the thing, I had all the context in my head and I actually knew what I was doing. And then I go back and I look at it and now I don't have the context anymore. And I'm like, this looks wrong. And it's because I forgot about some assumption or some crucial detail. This sort of thing happens all the time. So now I try to be a little more judicious before diving in and presuming that I know better than my past self. Because I'm definitely wiser than my past self overall. I think that's true for pretty much everyone all the time. But you got to trust that at the time your past self knew what they were doing. My past self is much more of a domain expert than I am, than current version of me is. It's hard to code review your past self. Too much time passes. Okay, Sapphire, you're saying that as you were refactoring the code your past self made? Look, honestly, and the autotiler worked before I started doing this. We had eliminated most of the bugs from the autotiler. I have introduced at least one, if not two, new bugs while doing this refactor. So yeah, that's minus 1 point for current me. Current me does not know what they're doing. All right, so that's negative y. Now we just got to do positive y, and I think that's it for the edges, at least. Like I said, I think we can skip the corners right now. I might still do the corners eventually, but I don't think we need them now. No, feel free to mess with me. A, it's good content, and B, it's usually deserved. All right. One more time. This system is getting a little long in the tooth here. I don't like having systems that are like over 1,000 lines of code. Some of the system stuff I feel like I could break off. Like the cutaway system there should probably be a cutaway system. The cutaway is not really where most of this code is. I don't know. I tend to write big monolithic systems until I understand the divisions between the different modules, and then I separate it out. But we're definitely getting towards that point where I want to do that. You enjoy working on the tiler so much that you refactor to have excuses to have more bugs to fix? Exactly, exactly. That's not that dishonest because I feel like there are times when I am so desperate to avoid having to tackle some big new system that I just noodle around with existing stuff. And it usually goes poorly. Usually. Mostly. Rhiannon Journey, you think that works really well while you're exploring a problem space? Hmm. Yeah, let's just see the extent of the problem. There's that good quote. I don't know who originally said it. I think it's a John Blow quote, but there's that whole like a problem, the shape of a problem doesn't start anywhere. And I think that's an interesting thing to think about. The shape of a problem doesn't start anywhere. And I think that's cool because a problem really is a geometric object, like it has bounds. And it's usually not this linear thing, it's usually multidimensional. And so you have to explore the space to even map out the boundaries of the problem before you even start, doing anything else. I think that's an interesting way to think about it. All right, I still don't know what determines whether the IDE jumps straight to where I'm cursoring over or where it like slowly slides up. I don't totally understand. All right, I also noticed the pretzel rock has died. Yeah. It's an interesting way to think about it. Next song, please. Thank you. Moderating my energy level this week is going to be a challenge. So we're doing our regular work week through Thursday. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we're going to be doing this game jam. I don't think I'm going to miss any streams. I think we'll be able to do all of it. So 3 days working on the regular game and then 3 days working on the jam game. I think it'll be fun. I want to jam more. I don't know if I have the energy to do quite as many like Ludum Dare style jam games where we do everything from scratch in like 2 days or whatever. But I would like to I want to try to do some more jams, especially maybe some more relaxed jams. A little bit more relaxed. I don't know. I'm still scared of trying to take on like a 9-day jam, like a week to 2 weeks or something like that. because I'm really bad at moderating the amount of effort I put into something like that. Like, I think I would just, like, marathon it the whole time. And so it's like, can I afford to miss 2 weeks of working on the main project? Realistically, yes, but, like, that's like a death by a thousand cuts kind of thing, where it's like, eventually you just get so distracted, it's hard to maintain progress on the main project here. We're gonna cut these down here. But I would like to do, I want to do game jams maybe like quarterly. All right, we're in ads. So I'm just going to be hanging out. On the Twitch side, we've got ads. So we're just going to be chilling. So don't mind me. I'm just going to move the secondary conditional here. We're trying to minimize horizontal line length, which means kind of maximizing the verticality. But I don't count lines, so I don't really care. I would never be like, ooh, look at my project. Look how many lines it is. Just want to be able to read it. I want everyone else to be able to read it. Quarterly jam sounds doable, especially if there are lower stress jams. Yeah, I think we'll always be doing down to jam if I can. So down to jam is good. That runs twice a year, usually in the spring and the fall. So that's 2. I like doing Ludum Dare, but I can usually only do 1 of those because just for scheduling reasons. So that's 3. And then I like these solo dev jams. I don't do all the solo dev jams, but in my mind, they're perfect. They're 72 hours. They're solo devs only. I really like them. They're my low-key jams because they're the ones that let me use like pre-made assets and stuff. Like, they're very chill. And there's like 3 or 4, because we did mini delivery during solo jam number 4, which was only like a year and like a couple of months ago. It was like August of last year or something. That's when we did mini delivery, which is crazy. That's already over a year ago. And now we're already on solo jam number 9, which is the second time I've been able to participate in solo dev jam. So they hold a jam every quarter anyway, at least. So that's cool. So yeah, I don't think we're going to have a problem. If we have a problem, it's going to be like spreading them out. Because the only thing is, a lot of these jams occur very close to each other. Like Down to Jam and Ludum Dare has historically been very close together. So eventually I might have to make a choice. I might have to be like, am I going to do Ludum Dare or do I do Down to Jam? And honestly, I think I would choose Down to Jam at this point. Pretty much every time. 48 hours just isn't enough time. But 72 hours, that is like the sweet spot. 72 hours is great. Should probably be on the same line. Doing a little refactoring here. I know I got distracted. It happens a lot. I'm refactoring my refactor. Hold on. All right, moving on. That seemed very wrong. I feel like there were more of those to correct here. think I've changed my mind about this. I know I just changed all of these, but I'm changing them back. Rhiannon Journey, you need to get off your butt and do a jam. Last time you had decided to try one, your wife broke her ankle and life just got hectic after that. It was over a year ago. Yeah, life always finds a way to get in the way, for sure. Life is quite good at doing that. Yeah, I'm really glad I've made time for it because I think it's what's kept me going. Like, I like my big project. I love this project. I love just kind of slowly working on it and building it little piece by piece. Like, I enjoy the idea of that sort of thing. Of like taking my time, really, really working on it slowly. But I also really like game jams. It's really inspiring to be able to like have something to just work on something for a weekend and then have a finished game after, even if that game is not very big or not very good or whatever. I've learned a lot about myself doing game jams. And I've learned a lot about where my skill set is. And I've been kind of surprised as far as what I'm good at and what I'm not good at. Hey Sapphire, you did a jam once a few years ago. You can remember what the theme. You can't remember what the theme was, but what you made was a game where you were basically a test subject. I think the Portal games. You had to get through the level with lasers, buttons, levers, and whatnot. The level end was not always the door at the end of the space. Oh, sometimes it was the laser that would previously kill you. That's somehow what the game made the game go with the theme. Interesting. No, don't worry about spelling. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah, jams are incredible. People come in and they're like, how should I get into games? And I'm like, do a jam. I think that's the way. It's so close to like making like, I mean, it is making a game, but I think it's such a great window into what it's really like to make a game under pressure. It really forces you to confront stuff that you can generally avoid when you're doing the dream project, quote unquote, like you're doing what I'm doing and you're just working on one big project for years. There's so many things you never confront. But when you do a game jam, you're confronting stuff all the time. And there's no time to delay or defer. You just have to do it. You have to power through it. Oh, there's a mouse containment check. Oh, here's what I'm talking about. This longer mouse containment. Get rid of this, and I'm going to recopy this from the other one. No worries. Thanks, Nix. Take it easy. You've only slept for a few minutes since Sunday. Ooh. Yeah, take it easy. Get some rest. Go watch some Lord of the Rings. Appreciate everyone who takes a little time out of their day to hang out with us here. So wild to me. Super grateful for everyone just hanging out here. I know there's a lot. I know there's a lot going on in the world and in everyone's lives. I never feel like I have enough time for all the things I want to do. But, oh man, that autocomplete That autocomplete almost wrecked me. Autocomplete is really good about understanding the structure of my code, but it is very bad about understanding the content. So it's usually very correct about like what I'm doing structurally, and then the variable it plugs in is like just totally wrong. And not just like a little wrong, but like very wrong. Sleep is important. Hey, Arneo. You say, as you woke up after a late afternoon nap you shouldn't have taken. Oh, late afternoon naps are the best. They totally wreck the day, but it is so glorious. Nix, you can't afford to watch Lord of the Rings again. Can you afford to not watch the Lord of the Rings again? That's the problem. I'm just kidding. Or am I? I need to make more time for like just watching like sci-fi shows in the background. I talked before about how I get really annoyed at the web browser versions of streaming services. I'm going to install some more streaming apps on my computer to see if that helps. But at the moment, I get really pissed off. Where a show that would normally be like 4K resolution on my TV, I'm trying to watch it on my computer monitor and it's just like garbage. It's just low bitrate garbage. And I'm like, how is this acceptable? Like, you know, I'm using a 4K TV. How can you not tell that I'm also using a 4K monitor? And it's like, well, you don't know if it's maxed out. I don't know. I'm not a web dev. I don't know what they do or don't know. I'm not going to get into that rant again. But I'm going to try. Because, yeah, I do need to spend more time just absorbing sci-fi shows. Just for what I'm working on. I'm familiar with a lot of them. But it has been a while since I've watched many of them. I saw an interesting YouTube video that I want to see, and it was just something like, it was like, you know, the video game meme of like, I want to play worse games made by less people who are paid more to do less. I don't remember what the meme is, but it's like, this was like the TV version of that, which was like, I want more sci-fi TV shows. I want shows with more episodes at a lower budget. And it was like comparing old shows like TNG era Star Trek and like Babylon 5 and like these other old classics. It was comparing those with the modern sci-fi shows like you know, modern Star Trek and stuff like that. I thought it was interesting. It's very true. It's very true. Production values have gotten to the point where to achieve that level of quality, you really are limited in terms of the amount of content you can produce nowadays. I mean, part of the thing is it's just more expensive to do anything, but still, there's definitely seems to be a conscious choice that was made at some point. Hey, Lion King. That's a fun way to spell that name. Rainbow Text. Welcome in. How's it going? All right, all right. You finish your project, then you can watch Lord of the Rings next. That seems fair. Random Journey, you can know the browser resolution, screen resolution, and color depth. Okay. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time then. Maybe they can do it and they're just choosing not to. But yeah, I have this problem. You know, maybe my TV is actually doing a lot of work. Maybe my TV, because I have a pretty new TV, maybe it's doing more upscaling work than I'm giving it credit for. Maybe the signal I'm getting from the streaming services is trash and my TV is just improving it. I don't know. It does a pretty good job when I play Blu-rays, which I'm doing more and more now because I'm more and more annoyed by the amount of content I am or am not able to watch reliably on streaming. I'm going back to like watching stuff on Blu-ray. I've got my eye on a TNG box set from the remastered one where they redid all of the graphics. Because I watch TNG a lot on Paramount Plus, but I'm like, man, I want to see those. I want to see that remastered version. Sapphire, if you really get into a show, it is always too short for you. You do get really annoyed, however, that Disney Plus has been having shows that are only like 6 episodes long, and it could have just been a movie. If you're going to make a show, it should be longer than 6 episodes. Yeah, what is this? The BBC? What are all these like 6-episode series? Whoever recommended Strange New Worlds to you last stream, thank you. That show has been lovely. It is lovely. It's lovely. I was disappointed to hear that they say they're going to do less of their weird episodes, the quote unquote outliers. I'm like, no, do more. Like the whole point of doing episodic television like that is just be weird. Don't do less. Don't fall into like the serialized storytelling hole. Even Deep Space Nine has like an episode about baseball. Like, come on. Ran and Journey, you missed the days of 20+ episode seasons. You know, there was a lot of filler, but that's where the character development happens. Exactly. People complain about that a lot. It's like Star Trek TNG and DS9 and all that stuff. Those characters would not be so fleshed out. With with like the 10 episode seasons that we get nowadays. It's kind of remarkable that Strange New Worlds and like Discovery and stuff are able to explore their characters as much as they do, but in such a short time. But I don't know. Yeah, I think it's super important. Like, I watched an old season 2 episode of Star Trek that was really just about Captain Picard's like an old flame of his that he just totally stood up. And it's just about her coming back into his life for, 45 minutes or whatever. And how that messed him up as a person. And I'm like, this is incredible. A, they stopped doing this in later seasons. And B, like the storyline was so random as far as like what was actually happening, but like I was like, oh man, this character exploration is so good. But yeah, no one can afford to do that. You feel like Star Trek is about wacky premises? Exactly. There are people who always complain about that stuff. Like when the musical episode of Strange New Worlds came out, people are like, that's not Star Trek. And it's like, excuse me? All the people who are complaining about what Star Trek is or isn't are usually dead wrong, which is why I'm trying not to do it. Don't try to put Star Trek in a box. It's like, it has to be wide ranging. It has to fit all of these things or it has to be expansive, It has to be incredibly expansive to really achieve what they've set out to with that show. I don't know. I'm saying a lot of nothing. But, that's fine. I'm talking around something. The shape of Star Trek doesn't start anywhere. Throwback to earlier this very stream. All right. Okay, I think I did it. I think I did the thing. I think I have written out the variations. I need to plug them in, and then we need to start some quality control here and try to nail down some of these bugs that I introduced. Okay, so we don't need the cutaway. We don't actually use this anymore. That's good to know. So we do this. We say has edge positive y. Cutaways. Yep, there we go. Yeah, I'm on the season finale of Strange New Worlds. I'll probably watch that tomorrow. I'll be sad. I mean, I know there's one more season, and I know they're coming out with it pretty soon. But I'll be sad. Yeah, we're gonna skip the corners for now. I will come back once we've actually started to code in the corners. So like, here's a corner code that we actually expressed. But right now, it doesn't make a lot of sense to do it, so I'm not going to. You know what I've been playing recently? Because I was talking to someone about it over the weekend, and I realized it deserved another chance, was I'm playing Outer Wilds again. Because I got pretty deep into Outer Wilds, but I just eventually I stopped playing it for like a couple of weeks for whatever reason, and then I just couldn't get back to it. And now I'm finally doing it, and I've been playing it a bit over the last few weeks. It was really good. That is such a good game. It's crazy how good that game is. Even just structurally, that's such a smart way to make a game. Arneo, you weren't into that Freaky Friday episode, but you're glad it's able to be less serious. Oh, they become a lot less serious. Some might say too less serious. But I've enjoyed it a lot. I think you have to be a little humorous because they have some hard-hitting episodes. They've gotten a lot more into things like the Klingon War and stuff like heavier stuff about that, like PTSD and I think at a certain point you really need to relieve that tension. And if you've only got so many episodes and you can't really do a beach episode, quote unquote, like you don't have the filler episodes, I think you need to find another way to relieve that tension. And so I think it kind of leads to them just making jokes all the time, being way more familiar than anybody in like a classic Star Trek has ever been. Like nobody was calling Captain Picard by his first name until like the movies, you know? Yeah. Like I said, I need to make some more time for sci-fi shows, some background sci-fi shows. I just need to absorb more material for my own sake, for writing a lot of stuff, for drawing, for artistic reasons, for writing reasons, for whatever. I'm going to try to make some more time to have just something on in the background, like a classic Star Trek or I want to start watching The Expanse again. I want to give that show another chance. Season 1 was so good, and I just kind of fell off. I know we have this conversation like every stream, but I don't know. Talk about what you know, you know? And boy, do I know sci-fi TV. Like, when's my next Babylon 5 rewatch? That's the real question. I don't have a disk drive in this computer, so I guess it's going to be a while. Because I have that show on DVD, but it's not like I can just play it on my TV. Maybe I can reverse Chromecast or something from the TV to my monitor. Or from my Xbox to my computer. I don't know. Does Xbox Cloud Gaming work for Blu-rays? Arneo, how about Raised by Wolves? Any fans of that there? It's one of those that shouldn't have been canceled after 2 seasons. That's a wild show. I heard about that. Raised by Wolves. I should give that a try, too. There's some shows that like I can't rewatch that much because it's like it feels so significant. Like I'm like midway through rewatching Firefly, but it's like a religious experience, like as far as like going to get the disc, taking the disc out, putting the disc in the Xbox, watching like an episode and then putting it back. It's like such a beloved show to me that's so tied into my experience as like a youth and stuff. And then other shows I can just watch constantly, like Star Trek TNG. Like I could just rewatch that over and over again. It doesn't have the same effect on me, really. I'm gonna turn these all into single line because I can. So I feel like if you had the option to make it single line, you probably should. Oh, did I mess up one of the... No, I didn't think so. Someone just dropped something outside and cursed really loudly. I feel bad. I don't know what they dropped, but they really didn't want to drop it. Does it make sense to move this in a different order? Nah. All right, I think we're getting pretty close to being done with this part, which is good. Oh, so here's the part that's going to remain multi-line, is this one right here, because there's an additional check here. That's edge positive Y. It's and this. Is it and this or this? Should there be a parentheses here? I don't know. I genuinely am not sure. I guess not, because there wasn't, huh? Let me look how that was written before I like deleted it. So this and not this and this or this. I guess not, huh? All right. We'll see. We'll see if that actually was the source of the problem here. Or source of a problem, because we've definitely got some problems right now. Some worries. Oh, I was going to get rid of... Oh, I'm still using this for something. What am I using this for? Oh, okay. Acceptable. I don't think I don't think anything changes about the door. The door layer is kind of weird. It's also kind of its own thing. All right, I think we're ready to test this to see how badly I transcribed this wrong. How badly transcribed this is. I thought I kind of decided I did want to add outlines, like horizontal outlines to the selection one so that you could see, so you could count how many squares over you are. So it's weird that I'm only doing that on one layer and not more than one layer. So I don't quite remember which one was the intended behavior. I guess we'll try both and we'll decide what we like. If we're lucky, I've introduced no additional issues over the ones I introduced earlier. Ugh. There's that moment where we get a weird cutaway, and I think that's because the flood fill system is running. Yeah, there's one set of outlines that's really just missing. And I'm not quite sure if it's coming from the floor piece or which part. I'm not quite sure which face is responsible for it. Oh, wait, no, I messed it up on the other side now, too. When did I do that? Oh, but only in certain circumstances. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. I'll probably do that bug hunt a little later. I'll go through and I'll look at the diffs and I'll see how I accidentally changed the auto tiling rule. I'll compare it with when it was before we moved it. I'll compare the version before we moved it with the version after we moved it and see where the transcription error occurred. But otherwise, we're doing okay. Otherwise, we're doing okay. We did that. We did the refactor that makes me feel better. We've put each auto tiling rule in its own little encapsulated function, and we can just switch on the particular layer. And I'm happy with that. And then any additional conditions being put on it can be put additionally. It's added. So like this does the overlay does the regular check and then imposes its own additional conditions on top of that, and I think that's fine. Because then there's one set of rules that are like the general rules, and then you can have some specific rules for specific layers. I still question whether I need a totally separate function for the overlays versus the not overlays. I guess I kind of do because of these additional conditions we're imposing, but I could probably split some of this behavior out. I don't know. Maybe not. We'll see. Source ID stuff is still a little sketchy. But I think we're looking okay. I think we're looking good for today, which is great. Wow, that's like exactly the time I wanted to wrap this up. All right. This was a great stream. Shout out to Sorcery Story for the raid. I appreciate everyone here who has spent the time today just hanging out with us. Always blows my mind. Very grateful. I know I always say the same thing every time, but I just am. I stream like nobody watches, and you know, people keep coming in. I really appreciate the community. Hey, Tandakua. Good luck. Thank you. Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. We do this. We stream 5 days a week generally. This week we'll do 6 because we're gonna stream all through the weekend. We're gonna be doing a game jam. I guess I can shout out the game jam. We're gonna be doing the Halloween solo dev 72-hour game jam number 9. That's gonna be really great. That's October 24th through 27th, starting at noon my time. Noon PST or PDT, whatever. Starting in 2 days and 22 hours and a minute and 30 seconds. This is gonna be a great game. Oh, it's round 3 of the theme voting. I should probably vote on the theme. I don't know why I thought the organizers selected the theme. I think it is voted. Oh, 200 joined. Awesome. I looked at this like a week ago and it was like 40 people. So that's great. This is going to be really fun. Hope anyone that's interested is able to participate if they want. Otherwise, just hang out with us. Hang out with us on the weekend. It's going to be fun. But yeah, we'll be back tomorrow for more of our regular project. We'll do our regular main project, Digital Iliad, our FTL-like Reworking and Godot. We'll do that today, tomorrow, Thursday, and then Game Jam City this weekend. Who knows what we're going to make? There's really no way to know, right? Until that theme gets revealed and you're like, and your brain starts churning. I might source some assets ahead of time, just look for all the best Halloween freebie assets that we can use, but we'll see. Anyway, thanks, Sapphire. Thanks everyone for hanging out. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.
Maximum warp.